Hello, this is Chris again, and I'm Chat by Chance, Chat by Chance on the road and going cross country here, or the official title on my site is, channel is Chat by Chance Cross Country. I got it. And I got Mike, and I got Maggie, and I got the dog here, Zulu. And I'm just going to quick brief rundown of what I'm doing. Here's my bike over here. I'm going around the country. I'm doing out of Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm going to do about 16,000 miles at least, and I've been on the road now 68 days. Got a payout from my employer. Just hit the road, went through Canada, and then zigzagging down through the United States. Now I'm here in Florida. I'm headed for the Keys. Camped out here 2 days at Maggie's Music Farm. And there's my bike, and that's literally everything I own in life, folks, right there. That's purged everything, and I just took off. It's a KLR 650, not the big cruiser bike. It's only a 650, but it does off-road and all, and kind of did some modifications for the highway for it. But it takes me where I want to go, and it's lighter and nimble. A little bit more physical on the highway, so I take all back roads the whole way. I don't go on the interstate, and I'm here at the music farm. Let's just introduce who I am real quick. And I met these great folks here. I mean, this is the incredible thing about my road. It's not the road itself or my trip. It's not the road itself. It's the people that you meet along the road that counts. And it seems like I just have a knack for meeting exceptional people and having phenomenal experiences just out of the blue. And I'm camping here at Maggie's, again, music farm. And here's Maggie and Mike and Zulu, and this is the stage right behind us. And I believe I'm going to ask them a little bit about the history about the stage and the place, because I've come to know these folks over the last couple of days, but just to get the facts and everything right. And just going to have a quick chat with Mike and Maggie here. And Zulu, if he wants to speak with us, he's free to. He can jump in at any time. And so what inspired you guys to have this place, or to build this place?
Insanity. We were a band for some people in a nearby town, and he was this amazing guy who did everything. He bow hunted, he did all kinds of stuff, made his own charcoal, and he wound up getting this wood out of the Chipola River. It's called Pecky cypress. It's deadhead cypress, and it was dropped in the river probably 200 years ago. And he went and dredged it up and had it planed, and after he passed away, his wife told us that he would like for us to have it. And it was a whole barn full of wood, and we thought, well, how do we honor the memory of someone who was so incredible? And so we decided to build a stage. So, and people say, oh, why did you do that? And we're like, we don't know. So,
we're in recovery right now from a Cat 5 hurricane, and you've noticed that hundreds of dead trees even a year later, but the stage didn't lose a single board.
Yeah.
Not one single board during the
So
hurricane.
it became a way for our musical community to get together. It became a way for us to do music on our little space, Maggie's Musical Farm. And then about a year ago, well, actually, shortly after the hurricane, we signed up for Hip Camp, and we've had this incredible stream of wonderful people that have come and camped out with us, including you, Chris. And yeah, it's just it's been a real adventure, and in recovery mode after the hurricane and trying to rebuild everything, and then having all these wonderful people come into our lives for a few days here and there. It's just been really, really cool. So I guess we built the stage for a community.
And a way to come home. We've been touring together for over 45 years. We've gone through all over this country, in Canada and England, Ireland, and it just seemed like a good way to start bringing music to us rather than us going to someplace else. So all the people we've met all the years of playing music on the road, we try to bring them here to play. So that's what we do.
It's such an amazing place, and you guys are such amazing folks. I had 2 days the privilege of meeting these guys and spent a good bit of time hanging out, talking with them. They got a nice pool over there, but believe me, in Florida, that's like liquid gold, And
Survival.
it is, and it's such a beautiful place. And folks, I've gone around a good bit in this area on my motorcycle. It is still ravaged here. I mean, I understand that there were 20,000 homeless displaced just in this community, or people that are
At least
homeless.
that much in this community.
Yeah, and 85 to 90% of all of our trees were damaged or destroyed.
In the whole area, not
Yeah,
just
this
here.
whole area, the Panhandle. So, and if people want to help out this community, there's a thing called family services. If you, they feed people, they buy trolley passes for homeless people so they can get to work. They clothe people. They do all kinds of things, and it's completely, totally nonprofit, and 100% goes to the people who need the help the most. And we've lost over 5,000 students from our schools. People are leaving because there's no place to stay, and no jobs, and it's just pretty devastating. And the few places that are left, they've raised their rents up twice what they were getting before. So. We need help, even though Puerto Rico still is in trouble and they need help. The Panhandle of Florida, this area, Bay County, was pretty devastated and still is, and we need a lot of attention and just hope from other people. So.
It's hard to believe 11 months later, but 11 months later, there's still thousands and thousands of homes here that people can't live in. They can't be fixed. They can't be repaired. So people are still living in tents around here. There's a lot of destruction, and winter's on the way, and we're right in the middle of hurricane season. So the next one could come anytime.
Yeah.
Fun place. It's an interesting place to live.
True. And actually, too, folks, if you have seen on like footage on Puerto Rico, people there are living in their houses dilapidated without electricity, and there's a blue tarp over the roof to keep the water out. Actually, yesterday on my bike, just going around exploring the area, I noticed a number of homes here. I saw the blue tarp thing, and that just immediately, I drew a connection. So, and I taught these folks too. There hasn't been a whole lot of assistance here in this community where it's dire need. I wouldn't have known it. I heard of course, I was aware of Michael when it happened a year ago, Mexico Beach, all this in Panama, that was completely wiped out. There's the one home standing. People probably saw footage of that. However, folks, you guys mentioned to me, there were 168 mile-an-hour winds on this property right here. That's what's so. The stage is a literal miracle.
That was sustained winds for over 3 hours.
Yeah. And our house, which is 120 years old, made of heart pine, also stood. It swayed a lot, but it stood. So we're pretty proud of that. And we just decided we have so much crap in it, it couldn't move.
It couldn't fall over.
Couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, so much junk in there, it couldn't fall over. All around us, though, you still see houses with the oak trees through them, big trees through them. But this is not a single subject. I mean, we're having a great time. We're making music.
Yep.
We've got every Sunday we have music. We're either on the road or we're making music here. So there's not a lot for us to complain about. We're really charmed.
And I will say this, just a few weeks after the storm, we contacted all of our friends that we could contact because we were still without any kind of internet or Wi-Fi. And we said, you know what,
power.
we're going to get together and we're going to have music. And so we have a little campfire ring over there, and we pulled our chairs up and we sat around and we told our stories and we cried and we sang and we played music, and it was wonderful. It was just, I've come up with this phrase, we're all one under the big blue tarp. So I kind of want people to remember that we're all in this together, and it's a good, people have really stepped up and helped. It's just a lot more people need a lot more help. So.
And the Florida folk music community, when they heard about this, they all banded together. They sent sleeping bags and food and water and chainsaws and generators and and we managed to get it dispersed all through this area. So they helped a lot.
Over $11,000. They contributed over $11,000 worth of goods and money, and we got moving blankets because in October it got cold, and we got moving blankets for people and just everything that we could think of to do to try to help all of our neighbors that were in need. And we met a young man who was an architect and a builder at the Tent City in downtown Panama City, and we gave him a place to stay. He had a little tiny home that he was carrying around, and he was our miracle. He built this shed for people to sit under while we're doing our music. He rebuilt our roof. He rebuilt our porch, our fireplace, and I mean, we paid him. It's not like, you know, but it was, we didn't pay him certainly what he was worth. We paid him what he asked, but it was a miracle that we met him, because so many people we know still don't have roofs, and they still don't have a way to live in their homes. So we were just very, very lucky.
And they've been abused by the thousands of storm gypsies who come follow any catastrophe and charge thousands and thousands of dollars to take a tree off of a house. And it's happening everywhere. So if it happens to you, just watch out for the people who follow the storms around now, because it's a full-time job.
Well, certainly there's plenty of storms to deal with nowadays, of course. And to me, last night, it was just yesterday or afternoon, midday, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, early afternoon. They had a number of musicians here play, and just some incredible music. And these guys, they write their own music, they play their own music here. I mean, it's all original, great stuff. And this gentleman they brought in, Wayne, he just played some beautiful music, and then a couple other folks prior to him were just fantastic. And it was just a great show. And here's the little auditorium that they're talking about. The gentleman built for him this little theater, the shed here, and then built, I guess, this structure. And what other structure did the guy?
He rebuilt our entire roof and our porch and our fireplace. He repointed our fireplace. And
One man did all that. He built this himself. He climbed up and totally rebuilt our entire roof, because we had big holes in it. The porch was almost gone. He rebuilt the porch.
Yeah, and I want to get a real quick glance. I'll be right back. I'm going to run over the circle. I was exploring the circle last night. They have lights out there, and they keep it illuminated all night long. So camping out here, I was just walking around checking it out, and it was really beautiful. Let's get a spot of it during the daytime. Wish I could get a night pic of it, especially with their LED lights. But here's the circle that they're referring to, where they play the music. And just real quick, because I want to get back to these guys. The wood built up here. And this is it, the circle that they're referring to, a little side of the territory, the land here, the trees. If you take a look at these trees up here, you can still see where they're leaning over, literally leaning over the property from the wind damage, 168 mile an hour sustained winds. And the trees themselves are still leaning. They've lost this place. I understand you guys said it was completely camouflage, or close, really shaded and camouflaged.
yeah, we had a huge, what they call a canopy, oak canopy. We have 5 more acres back behind this area, and it was absolutely and totally, you could not see the sunrise. And now we get up in the mornings and we see the sunrise come through the trees that are no longer there. And across the road was a pine canopy, and you couldn't see the sunset. And now we can. So we get to see the sunrise and the sunset, which we never had before. So. Yeah.
And over here they got like an outdoor kitchen, and there they eat coffee. This is where they prep, and when they have the shows, just like when I grew up in this part of Florida, and I explained these guys before. My dad used to always take me. He was kind of part of a local circuit, pick and grin circuit. Where the local musicians would show up and their friends, and they would play for each other. And they would have fried chicken, where you have a barbecue. And to me, this was a pick and grin that was special to me, because it ported me back in time with my dad as a kid. It was just such a nice blessing for me to be here and meet these wonderful folks. And if you're ever in this area, we're right outside of Youngstown.
Yeah, Panama City. We're about 30 miles north of Panama City.
And just look up Maggie's Music Farm online and come out and see these folks and just listen to some spectacular music. You don't have to be staying here, of course. The people that came yesterday, the crowd, not any of the folks were staying here. They just came to see the music local. And certainly appreciate meeting both of you. It's been an extraordinary and wonderful experience to meet you two fabulous folks. And to meet Zulu. Hey, Zulu. Yeah. Gotta say hi to Zulu.
Say hi.
So it was great meeting Zulu also. And we certainly, that's going to wrap it up here for this episode here of Chat by Chance Cross Country. Look us up and on YouTube. Like us and subscribe to us, and we certainly appreciate you. And I'm headed down the road for the next wonderful adventure. And again, all my adventures are people I meet, and so you won't see a whole lot of scenery on my mountains, everything else. It's the people that I meet on the road that are, to me, are the adventure in life. And appreciate you guys. You have and bless you both. Thank you.